Hello everybody, it's Quan here and I'm back with another video, and I decided to talk about something that a lot of people love to bring up but probably have no clear understanding as to what it really means. Just a couple of points. A lot of people like to talk hardware and talk about DirectX 11. It has DirectX 11. DirectX 11. Do you even know what DirectX 11 is? Okay, it's an application programming interface, an API. It's specifically designed to sit up here to have certain functions or calls when it comes to a certain type of programming. Okay, in this case, DirectX deals mostly with games as far as visual and audio. You have direct sound, you have direct 3D, that sort of thing. All right, now getting past all the technical jargon and getting into the meat and potatoes of it all. DirectX 11 is a Microsoft-based API. It's basically for Microsoft platforms. Okay. And so it just basically says that these specific type of functions that you can use for programming, are in this version. That's it. Okay. A card can be OpenCL and be equivalent, okay, to DirectX 11 functions and be just as good, or in many cases better. And here's another thing that you got to realize. Everybody keeps shouting DirectX, DirectX, DirectX. That point's about to become moot. That little slogan with a lot of people getting into Linux gaming. Linux, even though you can use things where you could use DirectX through Play on Linux, through Wine, through Bordeaux, through Sedega, what have you. You could use all those things and then use them in conjunction with DirectX to play your games. A lot of games are going to say, screw it, why go through all the hassle and just go OpenCL and OpenGL and call it a day, and OpenAL for sound. Okay? Some of you may know what I'm talking about, some of you may not. It is what it is, you know. But the bottom line is for everybody to be so hung up on DirectX 11, get over yourself. Okay? I'm a hardware guy, and so even I'll tell you, you know, it ain't that big a deal. Now, another thing that I wanted to talk about is everybody keeps talking about EDram and ESram and, oh, this is better than the other. Why? And they have no answer. Okay, let me explain something to you. ESRAM's fast, yes. EDRAM's faster and cheaper, yes. ESRAM stores information a lot longer than EDRAM. If EDRAM has a chip that refreshes the info on it, though, it is far more efficient at what it does than ESRAM, given the amount of space it takes up, its cost, its energy that it takes in as far as electrical input that it takes in, and the cost of electricity that it drains, in other words, its heat dissipation, a full nine. With the extra cost of a chip that refreshes the info on EDRAM is better. And this goes out to a particular person. I'm not going to name names because this person seems to be obsessed with ESRAM and can't really understand what it does. All I know is it's good. I can serve you haggis and not tell you what it is. Now, I'm not saying that it's bad or good, but if you were to know the ingredients, your average person here in the States would probably wince. But so, yeah, just because a name sounds like cool or whatever, and oh my God, this is like awesome. If you don't know what the hell it does, why do you care? See, this is why I like Mr. T's video, and a shout out to Mr. T, one of my little compatriots in the podcast that we have. Uh, he made a mockumentary of his PC concerning its titty flops and all this other stuff. Excuse my language for those who don't like any slight vulgarities. But still, I mean, it was funny. You know what I'm saying? It was a very satirical view of how everybody's obsessed with specs, obsessed with hardware, obsessed with this and that, and don't know the function. Now, for those of you who are into PC gaming, I'm going to give you a piece of advice, a little heads up here. If you want to make it easier for yourself and eventually go into Linux gaming, you want to look for games that use middleware that has nothing to do with hardware, that uses like, OpenCL, OpenGL, OpenAL versus direct sound and DirectX. So you don't have to worry about having certain files from Windows in order to make it work. on Linux. And the reason I'm bringing that up, since there was an announcement by Valve about SteamOS, and that we already know that Steam's based on, SteamOS is based on Linux. Okay, those of us who game on Linux and not just PC with the drag and drop and oh my god, I'd rather have everything done for me stuff, will tell you from experience. Okay, one, Linux is more stable. Two, Linux is faster in many respects, given the proper hardware, given the proper, if you know anything about partitioning, etc. and whatnot, yeah, you're better off with Linux. The only thing with Linux is drivers have to play a little game of catch up, and not to mention certain API slash middleware that tend to favor Windows over anybody else. But all that crap aside, I'm just going to let you know. Just keep an eye out for these things. And I'm going to let you, like I said, developers are going to finally get tired of the stranglehold that Microsoft, for example, has over gaming on computers. And they're going to slowly migrate away from DirectX, including Direct 3D and Direct Sound. They're going to migrate slowly, and Direct Input. Can't forget that as far as for your controllers and whatever. And yes, I know this jargon, and I know also the meaning behind this yakety yakety blah 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 stuff. So yeah, been there, done that. Dealt with the headaches, dealt with the blue screens, dealt with fixing people's crap. Yeah, used to it. But I rather deal with stuff that's more open source, whatever. So if anything happens, I don't have to worry about nothing. For case in point, one thing I like about this open source software is, let's say, for example, like you have an OS that's open source, and you know, if you have something like, let's say, Linux dies on you. You get the CD scratched you came with, download the ISO, burn it. There you go. Put it on a thumb drive, even boot it up. Boom. There you go. Windows, you scratch a CD, buy a new one. That's pretty much it. If you didn't think enough to basically make a recovery disk when you bought yours from the factory and it didn't come with a CD, wah, wah, buy a new one. This is why I'm starting to love Linux and favorite over Windows slowly. But still, that's enough of that. Okay, on to other things. Uh, the need to push our hardware to its peak to me makes no sense. I'm going to give advice to you people. If you want your games to actually give you fairly decent bang for your buck, but at the same time not have to sit up here and break the wallet in order to game, my advice to you is look for the median specs, the middle specs of the top game you could find. The one that's used as a common benchmark, Crisis, for example, it's been used for as a benchmark for years, or anything like that. Something that's a little bit graphics intensive. Forget story, forget whatever. Look at what the medium specs are that you see, what's in the middle window, and try to get your computer slightly above that with the proper drivers, with the proper, tweaks here and there, a good amount of memory. You know what I'm saying? Your gaming will be adequate enough where you don't have to worry about severe frame drops or nothing. You don't have to sit up here and be a tech expert. You don't have to have the biggest, most smoking, nasty black out the whole entire block when you turn on your computer graphics card on the market. Okay, you don't have to have triple SLI and have one reserved for physics and oh my god, yeah, dude, this will make Bill Gates sitting up here and creaming his shorts, blah 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 stuff. No, not necessary. Okay, and yeah, one of these days you're gonna see me prove it to you guys that yeah, you'll get some slowdown when you do some vids that you use fraps for because that uses up CPU. But if you use like a hop hog or whatever and you record vid on a medium rig, and you'll see gaming's not going to dip that far below what you need it to be. As long as it doesn't sit up here and act like it's like over there like stop motion or nothing. As long as it doesn't look like it's directed by Ray Harryhausen, your rig is good enough. Okay, you just gotta change things as you need to. You don't have to go nuts and get broke like a lot of people do, spending thousands on a PC for a game they're gonna get on sale for $9 on Steam. Okay. Now that we covered that little portion of the combo, we go on to the final portion. Okay. And that is PC elitism. PC elitism. Let me explain something to you guys. Okay. A gamer is a gamer, and a gamer can give a rat's ass what the other guy's doing unless they're playing against them or on the same team. A elitist, on the other hand, likes to snob around. This is the guy who, for example, when it comes to sneakers, will look at another man's shoes and ha 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 ha. Okay? And I said this time and time again. I had people brag to me about how they got sneakers for $300, $500. Dude, I got $500 shoes. They're orthopedic because I have a messed up right leg, ankle. I had it surgically rebuilt. So yeah, $500 doesn't look like much. You know what I'm saying? Orthopedic, piece of crap. And then on top of that, I gotta wear this jammy. It's an ankle brace. Okay, ankle brace, and here's the orthopedic shoes in question. $500. $500. And you know what? It does what it has to do, but there's a purpose behind it. There's a reason for the money. Okay? There's a reason for it. People who spend for the sake of spending when you don't need to, I mean, far be it from me from criticizing another man's spending habits, but I mean, think about it. If you're a gamer, wouldn't that money be best suited for the actual games than the hardware? If you could buy hardware that's, decent enough to get you going, you'll have more time for games and more money for it. If you want to break the bank, feel free to. That's on you. But it's not necessary. Anyhow, that's enough of that. You guys have a nice one. It's been Quan. It's been real. And as I always say, whatever's clever.